Rising community, and welcome back to another session in the series Passion, Purpose, and Profit. Today we are going to talk with Samantha J, and she is a sought-after spiritual business strategist, merging spirituality and entrepreneurship to help conscious leaders and entrepreneurs grow their visibility, social impact, income, and influence to build empires where wisdom and wealth unify the world. Samantha has been named as one of the top 20 entrepreneurs on the rise by Fox in 2021 and one of the top 7 women paving the way of success in 2022 by Disrupt magazine for her efforts and an award-winning entrepreneur, philanthropist, soulful speaker, and top podcast host. I'm so delighted to have you here with us today, Samantha. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, I love how you merge spirituality with wealth. I think there was a rift, right? For many, many years. It was on the different ends of the spectrum and you just bring it together. So I just want to get into your backstory. How did you end up doing this work?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I became an award-winning entrepreneur at 22 years old. And what really supported me to become an award-winning entrepreneur was more about proving myself than anything else, right? So when I had then accumulated that level of success and built my family's company to multi-8 figures, I wondered, why did I feel empty? Why did I feel this void inside? And I realized that it was that lack of spiritual connection and connection to my wholeness that before getting that success, which was the reason why. So I sold everything. I had investment properties, I had a car, had all the, nice clothing and everything. And I was like, I'm going to sell everything. And like, how do I feel about myself now? And I became a bit of a gypsy. I think my mom and dad thought I was going crazy. I traveled to over 25 different countries. I went to Buddhist silent meditation retreats, Nepal, and I found that there was a great deal of insecurity inside of me that I was masking up with wealth and success. And so in that point, I discovered, I guess, my inner spiritual connection and that gap between not being enough and where I filled that with external accomplishments and things. And I started to feel that external the places where I was trying to get external validation and approval with my own love and approval. And I started to realize through that journey that when we are feeling whole and enough and complete inside of ourselves, then money is simply an expression of that wholeness. We can either then use money to feel our inadequacy, or we could use money for evil. We can use money for power. We can use money for hate. Or we can use money as an expression of our care for people, disadvantaged, our care for how much we're valuing ourselves. And so I discovered something in this that I didn't really see people talking about, which was how we can use business as that expression of good in the world. When we see our own internal value, see that we have expertise and gifts that are unmatchable, then we don't put a limit on how much money we will make in this world because we choose to then share that value freely. And if then we have a purposeful and profitable business model, that means the more money we're making, the more we can circulate that money towards disadvantaged people, children caught in child sex trafficking, and all these different causes. And so therefore we win because we're happy and, money is just more of an expression of our own happiness. But then also the planet wins because we're using our own happiness and sense of wholeness to then make money and then with that money help others that don't have access to that money.
I love it. And I really think that this is the new era. This is where we all are stepping towards, I hope. And this is why I'm doing this kind of work to bring it forth, because really, especially for us women who wanted to have that sense of power. Obviously, money is power to do goodness in the world. They still had to work, almost had to, before they forged their own way, go through that masculine paradigm of doing business. And we are now shattering that, saying that there is another way. I know you do that work as well, the feminine way, and really use it to do goodness in the world, which I know that women are so naturally good at that. And for me, that's where we're heading. That's the hope for humanity, right? Do you see that?
100%. And so money is a way to nurture the world. So the masculine aspect is the part of us that within every single one of us, there is a willpower. That's that masculine aspect of us that has a willpower, that has the ability to act, to do. And so it's that connection to the part of us that cares, that wants to nurture, that wants to love and to provide for the world, that we can absolutely use our business in that way. But often what happens that gets in the road for that is people see a cause in the world or a group of people in the world that they feel that nurture and care for, but they don't have a profitable enough business to be able to actually make millions of dollars to be able to do something about it. And so they'll start low end, they'll undervalue, they'll undercharge, but I'm all about, no, go premium, make a lot of money, make a lot of profit, because only if you've got, overflow will you actually be able to make enough of a difference in those other disadvantaged areas.
Absolutely. I love that you say overflow, because so many of us really want to give. We will open NGOs, we will volunteer, we will do all sorts of things. But if we don't have that inner, our cup is full from the inside, eventually it bound to match, resistance and frustration and all of that, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so, all of this starts with us seeing our own value. Whether we're a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneur, there's the only way that we can actually enable our wealth to grow is to see our own value and to stop undervaluing our services and our expertise. And I think that's one big kind of cringy kind of topic that is there for people to talk about, because we've been told if I'm spiritual, I must, charge low rates. I must give my services out for free. All these different things, I mustn't talk about myself too much. I mustn't toot my own horn. I must always, support the people with the lowest purchasing power. And so one thing I want people to write down is 80% of the world is living on less than $10 a day. And so, one of the things is the only way for us to be able to create a purposeful and profitable business model is if we target the people that have enough money. We can, as our business grows and scales, of course, we can offer lower end things. But in the first multi-6 figures and beyond of your business, you need a profitable offer that actually targets the niche that has the highest purchasing power. Especially right now in the uncertainty of the downturn that we're experiencing right now, this is not a time to, create a charity or a hobby business. This is a time to adopt an empire maker mindset and actually think a lot longer term. And, that's when we create for the highest purchasing power niche, the people that have money, and then with our money, we can distribute it to the lower and different niches or communities from there. But it all starts with us first acknowledging I'm a valuable person, my expertise is valuable, and starting to reimagine what we thought was possible. So a question I like to throw my clients is this: if you were to charge 5x for what you're currently doing, so if they've got a $10,000 offer, if you were to create a $50,000 offer, and there was somebody that was going to come across tomorrow and pay you that, what would you actually sell them? What would you sell them? And they're like, oh, I don't know if anyone would ever pay me that. I'm like, you would create something, wouldn't you, for that? And they're like, okay. And then they start to look for a faster, more enjoyable, easier way to give clients the outcome that they normally give people. But at that higher range, it's like, well, I might get a yacht, or I might do it in this 2-day experience rather than 12-month experience. And this is when they start to own their value, own their X factor. And when they take themselves more seriously, the world does too.
I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I have been healing my own money wound for a good amount of years. And, coming exactly from that place of, I'm spiritual, I will do Reiki for free, but I will waiter. I'm talking about my early 20s. And what happened to me now, and I want to share it because I think that can relate to many women, is that I've realized that time not necessarily is a good indicator of my true value, because I've got so much experience today that I can literally sit with a person for 1 hour and change their entire life, transform their entire life. So how much does that 1 hour worth, right? I mean, it is priceless. You can't even put a price tag on it. And the fact that it is only done in 1 hour, it means that I can do my things so fast, in the speed of light, rather than maybe, 3 months. So should I charge less, or should I charge more for that, right?
Yes, that's exactly it. And I think it's so liberating when we stop going time equals value or time equals money, because then actually we stop burning out and sacrificing our values with our businesses. And what happens for a lot of the women that work with me is like, oh, their marriage is getting better. They've got more intimacy. They have more time with their children because their business isn't built on them and their hours. It's built on scalable offers where they're getting charged, like they're charging 2 to 5 times the amount, but it's in a scalable way. And I think that's what we're all craving, aren't we? Because we became entrepreneurs for freedom, yet then often our business becomes a trap and we're sacrificing our values and we're frustrated and resentful of the business. So yeah, this is exactly it. What we want to start to do instead is, it's actually the transformation equals the value. Now, I could deliver that transformation in 1 minute. I've got people that pay me thousands of dollars, and in a voice messenger, in a minute, I'm giving them an insight that will make them millions of dollars. But but it was 1 minute of my time. And this is true for every single listener. Try to think about, what is the value of that transformation I'm delivering? If I'm helping them with their health, how many years are they going to have that health transformation for? What's that going to mean for their physical health, their emotional, their mental, their wealth capacity? It's so amazing when we start to open up those possibilities with that.
Exactly. And I really want to say that, and I say that with confidence, that we all women are healers, coaches, consultants, witches, magicians, sorceresses. We all are. This is our nature. And it's when we bring those superpowers online, and we all have our own unique gifts, our own, ways that we can express and heal and shift and bring ourselves to humanity. And it's really about recognizing what are you here to share, and how can you bring it in a way that will create that success, that will create the best impact. And you need system, you need strategy, you need support, right?
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because a lot of people are great at being the healer and doing the, but it's what's the glass ceiling is they don't know the business strategy. Yeah. And then that overwhelms them. I don't know my numbers. I know my sales so far, my marketing so far, or my business has grown, but now I need teams and systems. And how do I do that? I need somebody who can give me the business education. And so you are, like most listeners, will be the healer, the magician, this, that. And so, one of the things is you could be helping and supporting so many more people, but it's often that we have imposter syndrome around it. And we could have a lot of shame. Like, I can't tell anybody that, like, my numbers make me feel so uncomfortable. And that's why, it's one of the areas that I help people with in the first 7 days of working with me, because I get that. Like, I get how people can be just in their healing business and have no idea of their numbers. And I've worked with healers And they're like, oh God, it's just giving me so much anxiety. And they're like, they've got no booking systems, anything's there. And they're feeling so overwhelmed, and they could be helping thousands and thousands of people if they just got the business side of things, done. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that support, that system that we all need to scale and to bring our gifts forth in a bigger way. What do you have to share about that?
Yeah, well, I think the first place is you want to get a virtual CFO. Like a virtual CFO, that's somebody who is looking at your numbers and putting together a monthly dashboard that shows your profit, loss, and which of your services is most profitable. So in Australian dollars, that's just literally a couple of $100 per month. And then they do all your invoices, and they also show you the profit and loss, and they set you some financial goals. So you don't have to be the one who does it. None of that sounds pretty fun. But I promise you, money only feels safe with people who care for her. So if you don't have your financial management of your numbers in place, how will you feel safer to hold more of it? You're not going to feel like you can protect it. You won't have a budget. So just simply by people having that tool in place, they actually can double, triple their money because it's just like a little kid. It's like if we're not looking at it, seeing when it needs to be fed, aka our bank accounts going lower, that kid's not going to trust us much. And our money is the same. It wants to know that we're looking at it frequently, and that we know exactly, its health. And it's kind of like driving a car. Our money and numbers is like the fuel tank of our business. And so you can imagine if we didn't know how to read the fuel tank of our car, we're moving in one direction, but we don't even know if we're going to make it. And that's often how we are with our numbers. We don't know what our fuel tank is. We don't know when we need to refill it or even where we're going. And then we can feel a bit like this on the road. So that's where I'd start. And then the second thing is, I think that it's really important to tap into somebody's genius who has a vision of us and our business that's bigger than us. We will be self-led, and we're really powerful, and we're all visionaries on this call. But when you tap into the vision, like into somebody else who looks at your business and who you are and is like, wow, like they see a higher vision than even you yourself were holding. Whoa, the power in that, because then we get to go to our goals in the most efficient and effective way. And that is like, I don't know if you've ever been in that energy where you're in the energy of that and you're just like I once had a person, he asked me, he's like, if you were going to be, what did he say? He's like, if you were going to be anything or do anything in this world, and you were going to raise the caliber of your vision by, 5 times, like what would your vision look like? And I felt this huge wave of energy come over me, and I was like, wow. And I just reimagined my future so much more bigger, and it just pulled me forward, and any heaviness just left me that day. And ever since, I've just been on a rocket train. It just felt like it brought so much passion back into my life. So I hope people can reflect on that too.
Beautiful. So here we go. That's a few places to start, is having somebody to look at your financials and get all that part going. And have somebody that have a bigger vision than you. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And then the next step?
Oh, the next step. There's so many steps. I think it's then about building it from the inside out. So our sense of identity, obviously if we've got that more expanded vision, then who we're being today, our reality is going to be a reflection of our personal relationship we have with ourselves. So we need to start going, okay, well, who would I be? What would I do in order to have that reality right now? And just be patient and kind with ourselves, because that's actually going to take quite a while. And then we want to look at our offer. Now, if my offer is going to be an expression of that new value, how do I architect that, more premium, elevated offer? And that's when I help people to have that clear life vision, so that offer helps them to live the life vision they want. So for example, they may want a monthly holiday only want to work 5 hours a week. They want to, I don't know, earn 7 figures a year. They want to travel all around the world. And in a 12 months time, they want to have a team that does all the delivery. So they're just writing books and on stages. I'm like, perfect. Well, it's going to take us, 3 to 12 months to get all of that in place. So this is the offer that we're going to need. And then we start to put it in place. And then once it's in place, we put the team in, the systems in, and then in many years to come, they may be able to build that into a saleable asset, which I think for a lot of healers, mystics out there, this kind of idea that they don't have to be always in healer, that it could become like a certified school. And imagine in 3 to 5 years, this school of yours is actually sold off, right? And you're retired. You've sold it off. And so this is the power of owning your inner IP, putting it out into a business strategy and enabling that IP to one day become like a saleable asset. So you're not always having to be the person on the tools.
I love it. And it's so true. You know what comes strongly for me is that when we want to birth anything, including obviously children and new life, we really have to bring the feminine and the masculine together in union. And the feminine energy is that energy of creation and intuition and mystery and creativity and envisioning and all of that, which is super important, but chaotic if it doesn't have the masculine container to hold it safe, to hold it protected, to have the direction, to have the planning and the linear kind of vision. And what you're doing is you're really merging the two together, and you say, okay, we're gonna leverage all that beautiful, juicy, incredible feminine energy of yours, but we're gonna feed it in a very well thought and organized masculine container, right?
That's 100% it. Yeah, that is. And some people who have a lot of strengths in the feminine, where they're very creative and they've got a lot of ideas, and then they often need somebody to bring those ideas into order and into a profitable model in the structures. And then we've got some people who are very structured and rigid, but are operating in a limited kind of rigid idea, and they need somebody to like shake it up, think bigger, innovate more, be a bit more of a risk taker, be more creative, all of that. So people have strengths in either one, and to be able to bring them together that's exactly where it's at.
Right. I mean, I would take it a step further, because this is what I do with healing and transformation, and say that it really has to do with our inner energies of our inner masculine and feminine, which of course has been shaped and mostly affected by our mother and father. So, if you have more ease in, with one energy, but more difficulty with the other ones, usually it comes down to really healing within your relationship with your mother or father. So for me, that's going a step further. I'm sure you can relate to that. Yeah,
100%. And there's the personal with our mom and our dad, and then there's the collective times that we're actually living in, and how much the masculine is celebrated and the feminine often isn't, or either or, depending on the sexes. And so for a lot of women, the masculine has been celebrated a lot, like be career driven, be that independent woman. And so there can be aspects of us where we don't want to show our softness or our vulnerability, or we don't even know how to as a female in a leadership position. And so often as women progress their career or get more success and money, I've felt for myself how I've needed to be very careful not to abandon my feminine and the softness and the vulnerability. Equally, I see how there's other women that don't really know how to tap into their masculinity in culture. So they've only found their self-belonging by being the pretty little timid woman who never has something really to say to upset people, which is kind of this distortion of femininity. And she wonders why, like something's missing inside. It's because like there's a purpose, there's her own masculinity that she hasn't really trusted enough. So she's outsourced that, in other ways. And so I think there is the personal relationship with our mum and our dad. I also think that there's the cultural one, depending on where we're living, and also the stories of in the magazines and the movies around us that, you know, so for me, I grew up here in Australia, and it was just always celebrated, be the career, strong, independent woman. And so when I had become this award-winning entrepreneur, I had endometriosis, I was burnt out, and I didn't have intimacy or relationships. And I realized, oh, I really want to become a mum too. But I'd been over masculine. And I wondered why, you know, there was something missing a bit. And it's because I didn't know how to self-nurture. I didn't know what my womb was and that connection. And so, yeah, it's a big topic, this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I want to take a conversation in the direction of your new book, right? Because you wrote this book. Maybe you tell us about it, because you kind of map out how the economics in the world will look like moving forward. So let's touch on that if you want to speak about your new book.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2030 Future of the World Economy is very much about how millennials, those that are aged between approximately 25 to 35, are going to have the highest purchasing power. This means that, you know, no other time in history has one generation been the people that are spending the most money in the world. And so what this means is that millennials have a different value system than other generations before. Other generations before, they didn't care about, does this company, you know, are they ethical? Are they sustainable? Are they caring about the planet? Are they standing for something more than profits? But millennials do, because of the circumstances that we've lived in. We've seen climate change and some of these other things. So when we're looking for a company, this means we want them to stand for those things. And so what this is going to mean is that it's meaning a disruption to how businesses have been built. And really at the forefront of that is the millennial buyer who cares about something different. So this is really good for the healers, the mystics, the brands out there, because we have an opportunity to stand out in the market now and boost our profitability by having a purposeful and profitable vision. So I'll give you an example of this. Like on the weekend, we created an Illuminate event. And for every person who registered, we helped one little girl who's caught in child sex trafficking to get a kilometre closer to home. So by doing business with our purposeful and profitable model, as we made money, we then distributed that to places of disadvantage. And so more millennials are going to choose companies that do similar things to that. On top of that, what's happening in the economy is there's over $30 trillion worth of money that is going to be transferred to millennials. So what we're going to see is, because the baby boomers are unfortunately dying off, I don't know how else to put that, we're seeing that there's going to be huge trust fund money that is going to be transferred to millennials. Now, these young people are going to have money, and then they're going to need support with wealth management, and then how to actually use this money. And so what we're seeing in the US economy, and with this wealth transfer, is we're seeing a huge shift to entrepreneurship and freelancing, and startup businesses. And that's really what these millennials have the power to tap into, is they're going to have money. They don't like the world that we're living in now. And so they are going to be starting to reimagine solutions for the future. And it's not driven by money and profit, because they'll even pay more for a brand if it's actually got a good cause behind it. So what we're going to see is this huge generation coming in, having access to money, and having the opportunity to start businesses that fix problems in the world, but in a way where they're not being driven by profits, they're being driven by a purpose. And every single person has the opportunity to tap into that.
That's such great news, and you know, makes my heart sure, you know, take yeah, I mean, hope for the future. And yeah, that's why we here are doing what we're doing, to support you as a listener, to really take what you have already or what you envisioning to create to that next level, where you merge your passion with your purpose, with your profit, and also do goodness in the world and distribute it to the less advantaged ones and create amazing things in the world. I think this is really how we're going to see the shift we all yearning for.
100%. And you know, there's so many people out there that are wanting that right now. Like with the state that the world's in, people are wanting a deeper connection to their spirituality to find that sense of meaning and purpose. They don't want the 9-to-5 job or, you know, or hustling and finding that security in that place. And I think some of the barriers that millennials come up with that is trusting that when they do their passion, that they will be provided for. You know, I think the latest stat said that 96% of coaches fail. So we've got to start to reflect on why is it that only 4% of coaches or people that are starting to drop into that passion, why is it that they don't succeed? And I think it's because they don't have a framework for how to merge profit with it. So they often undervalue themselves, hustle in them first years. And so I think this is why this is amazing, because if we can get education on how to stop undervaluing and how to have that value and profitable model from the beginning, then more people will have success as well.
Right. And I can talk for myself. I mean, how many years as a coach I've been hustling and grinding and definitely undercharging and getting myself into burnout. And then it doesn't serve no one, right? Because then I can't do anymore. You know, the people that I've been serving can't get my service. It's just such a dissonance. And it's, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm passionate about bringing this kind of work, because I really think that we have been told a lie of scarcity, right? It's a lie. Actually, everything around us is abundant. The universe is abundant. Nature is abundant. Mother Earth is abundant. You take one seed, you plant it. The next thing you have a tree with trillions of seeds, right? It's just the nature of energy, and we have to start really shifting our mind around it.
And this is why we need wisdom. You know, that's why I specifically spoke about wealth and wisdom unifying the world. We are really missing elders right now. You know, my great nana, she passed away about a year ago. She'd been somebody who had lived many world wars. And so because she'd lived through those experiences, she said to me, a world war's coming. And she could see it, but from a place of wisdom. And so, you know, when we haven't got wisdom guiding us, our elders around us, then often we have to keep repeating mistakes. And so, you know, right now is a time to surround ourselves by people who are wise, not wise in years, but wise in soul wisdom. And so, you know, for me, I surround myself with 5 to 6 different mentors. The reason I do this is because we've been taught a lie of the self-made entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And so we often get a lot of pride out of, I'm self-made, I'm doing it all alone. And yet that's not what the journey's about, because entrepreneurship is not about the destination. Entrepreneurship is about the journey. And so how can we make the journey of turning our passion into profit the most enjoyable, fun, memorable experience? Because I promise you, the destination doesn't feel good at all. Like it feels like nothing really. It's like, oh, I made it to there. So we don't want to focus on the destination. It's like, how can I be around an amazing group of people? Mm-hmm. How can I have mentors that are my confidants to share along the way, the ups and the downs? How can I be okay with having systems and teams? Like, forget the self-made stuff, because that's just all an ego trip. Mm-hmm. So I see everything now as it's a team effort. Team effort, focus on the journey, surround yourself in beautiful spaces like this, and just, it's more about, yeah, we're not the one in the driver's seat. Spirit is. We just get to be the fun person who is really just driving the vehicle at times, or we think we're driving, but actually Spirit is. And, you know, I have this mantra, people may want to write it down. The more fun I'm having, the more money and impact I'm creating. And I can tell you that, you know, on the weekend, I created this event, Illuminate. And look, being a speaker has been my dream for life, but inside I'm terrified by this dream. And so I get on stage, and you wouldn't believe what happened. My throat was like, and I was trying to talk, and I was like, and my whole throat froze up, and I was like, I was talking, but like my throat was frozen. I was like, And because I'm not on the stage to prove, perform, perfect, please, I actually just laughed about it. You know, I'm just being myself, and I'm like, oh, guys, you can tell I'm really afraid and I'm doing it anyway. I hope this inspires you today. And so when entrepreneurship is not about, it's not about the destination, it's not about proving, it's just you showing up and having fun and having people to, you know, laugh about the journey with, then it's just, you will succeed more, right? You know, I think a lot of people, they struggle because they're doing it alone. They don't know how to receive support. They don't know who to trust. And I get that, because unfortunately, not everybody's the real deal. So, you know, tune into yourself, find people that are the real deal. This is a community that is, and just surround yourself with those people. And, you know, if you're struggling, a lot of people have struggled the last 2 years, and, you know, find a community that injects that enthusiasm and that passion, and just find a way to have more fun.
I vow for fun. Yes, yes, yes. Fun is super important. And I also like that you say it's about the journey, it's not about the destination. And really the most profound thing that comes to me when you say that is that it is in the journey that we expand, that we, you know, our soul expands. We become the person that can hold that higher vibration. We have an opportunity to exercise our creativity, to reinvent and re-envision and recreate all the time. And this is what makes us the co-creator, divine, spiritual human being that we are here to be. And, you know, if we just had the power, the magic to say, okay, so I'm here to make X amount of money, here is my X amount of money, okay, done, right? There is no creation of who we are becoming in the process. So it's really about enjoying the journey. The journey is what makes it all so worthwhile. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and that's really, you know, business is about self-actualization, because, you know, the deepest level of fulfillment comes from knowing ourselves. And so I talk about this little process. We put one foot in the desire to be and do more. And we go, great, there's a part of me that nothing will ever be good enough. I have this desire inside of my heart. I want to be and do more. And then we put the next foot in appreciation. I'm not doing it because I'm not enough, or I'm not happy with the full package of who I am. So I do something, or I be more, but then I pause, reflect, I appreciate who I am. It's the masculine and feminine. Masculine, be, do more, action. Feminine, appreciate, rest, reflect, I'm enough, I'm at peace with who I am. Masculine again. Because the truth is nothing will ever be good enough for the masculine part of us, because we're wired for growth, evolution. Okay, and so yes, nothing will ever be good enough, but that's why you've also got to practice being the feminine, appreciating yourself, and loving your full package of who you are as well.
I love that. I love that. It's like walking, right? One foot after the other, and you have to really keep that balance, or rather harmony between, as you said, between doing and being, really, right? Yeah, I mean, I know that I have definitely had that very profound realization where I was just doing too much. And then it's like a double-edged sword. It's actually harmed me. It's actually, you know, and it's amazing because you were talking about fun, and this last weekend, and I'm in the middle of a summit, so I've got a lot on my shoulders. And I just took the weekend off, and I went with my girlfriends to a party, and I managed to put the summit, the work, the family, the kids, everything in a box and put it aside and just have fun, laughing. I laughed my ass off. I mean, I was crying, laughing and dancing and having so much fun. And I came back on fire. I came back so ready to take the next step, and I didn't sleep much, so I was sleep deprived for sure, and that didn't even stop me because my heart and my soul was so full. So definitely have that balance of the feminine, the rest, the being, the reflecting, and definitely get your inner child out to have fun, to play, because literally, it is end of the day, it's all a game. I mean, we hear, you know, this whole life, it's really just a game. It comes and it goes. You are the main character, right?
Yeah, it's a big cosmic joke. That's what the shamans say. What a cosmic joke, what a cosmic play, you know, we're just a funny little character. Yeah, that's 100% it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that was such a beautiful conversation, and I have to bring it to completion. So I know that you have a beautiful gift to share with our audience. So I'll let you say what it is. And yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So I've decided to give the audience a copy of my 2-day Illuminate event that I just ran on the weekend. So we're going to give you free access to the VIP of that, where you literally get 2 days of me presenting on everything about create your business vision, create your purpose plan, create your identity, learn how to increase your sales, learn how to stand out in the market. There's over $4,000 worth of value in that. Plus, we're going to be giving you all the VIP. So luxury branding, how to get on a TEDx stage, how to write your best-selling books. There's all these different things on there of all these VIP upgrades. So there's over $4,000 worth of value we're going to give you guys for free. 2-day Illuminate event. I hope that it illuminates your life, your potential, and it just ignites your heart with all this passion to just be your biggest and brightest self over the next 12 months.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is so generous of you and so much value right here. So please, guys, go and register. This is such an incredible offering. Thank you so much, Samantha. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to find you?
You can follow me on Instagram, i.m.samantha.j. I've got my Facebook page, Samantha J. We've got a Facebook group, Spiritual Business Strategies. So you can also do that. And yeah, you know, watch Illuminate. And I just hope that you guys get as much as you can from it.
Great. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you for you showing up and all that you do, and your boldness and your courage and your beauty and all that you bring online. And yeah, very inspiring. And thank you for being you and leading that way, and the blessings your way.
Thank you.
Right. And so for you, the audience, thank you for watching until the end. And please go and purchase the VIP all access pass so you can revisit this series. Is so much value in each and every session. You definitely want to have it accessible. And if you have any comments, any feedback, any questions, please write your comments below. So until the next time we meet, so much love from my heart to yours. Ciao.